Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Geneva. I go by Genuinely Geneva on all my social media platforms. You can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Pinterest, and you can find me on my blog at www.genuinelygeneva.com. So today's video is going to be a review of McCalls Moto jacket pattern, and it is McCalls 8121. So this is the pattern right here that I did. I actually started this pattern in January and I'm just now finishing it up. I wanted to make this video so that I can give you my thoughts on this pattern, to tell you number one, why it took me so long to get it done, and then also just to give you my thoughts and my insight on it and let you know whether or not I would make this pattern or use it again to make another jacket. So let's go ahead and jump right into this video. Alright, so just so you all know, this is an average skill level pattern, and it calls for tweed, wool blends, faux leather, or novelty fabrics. And so for this particular jacket, I chose to use a faux leather. Not faux leather, I chose to use vinyl in place of faux leather, I should say. So here is the jacket that I made, and I used vinyl, or red vinyl from Joann Fabric Store. They have it always in stock, so if ever you want to get some red vinyl fabric, you can get it there. And so let's just go ahead and jump right into why I chose this pattern of construction and all that great stuff. So I have been looking at this pattern for a while and wanted to make it, and I finally got enough nerve to say, okay, Geneva, you can do this. I was a part of a pattern making class, and I got encouragement from those who were in the class that said, yes, do it, you can do it. So I moved forward. So it took me a while, first of all, to decide what pattern I was going to do. I knew I wanted to do a Moto jacket. It also took me a while to decide which fabric I wanted to do the actual jacket in. I knew that I wanted a bright color jacket. I originally wanted like a bright pink type jacket, but due to time constraints and really not finding any vinyl that I liked that was bright pink, I went ahead and went with the red vinyl because I already actually had it in my stash. So I did make a muslin, and the reason why I made the muslin, I'm going to share it with you here. Here is the muslin. So I have one sleeve on the muslin, and then I have some pins from where I was sizing it to see how much I would need to take in. And then the other side doesn't have a sleeve. I didn't put a lining in it. I just wanted to get the overall fit, how it would look. And so what I actually wound up doing was I measured myself, but I cut the largest size, which was 24 on the pattern. And I did that for a couple of different reasons. I wanted to make sure that I didn't cut it too small. And then I always figure you can take fabric away, but you can't add fabric. Like it won't look right if you add it. So I figured it would be easier for me to take fabric away versus adding it to the actual jacket. So the muslin was actually one of the best things that I've ever done in terms of sewing something so difficult. And I won't even say it was difficult. It was just a lot of pieces to put together. This particular pattern asks for 26 pattern pieces. And so there are 3 pattern pieces for the main front, 3 for the right, 3 for the left, 3 for the back, and then of course you have your lining pieces and things like that, your facings and things like that. So there really were a lot of pieces to this particular pattern. Let's see. Sewing up the muslin, I didn't have any issues at all. Life happened, so it took me a while. I lost my sojo a couple of different times. That's the only reason that it took me so long to complete this pattern, was because I really wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling like sewing anything, and when I don't feel like sewing, I just don't. But once I gained my momentum back and I started sewing, I transferred everything that I did with my muslin into the main fabric. So sewing with vinyl was probably the toughest fabric I've ever had to sew with before. And so I learned some tips and some tricks along the way. First things first, you are probably going to need to use a Teflon foot, which is a foot for sewing with vinyl, or a walking foot, so because the fabric can get really, really thick. Also, I had to hand baste and hand sew in the sleeve because the fabric was very, very thick and hard to just maneuver into my machine. Let's see what else. I picked the lining fabric, which I don't know if you can see from here. These hearts, let me unzip it a little bit so you can see. So open the jacket. This lining fabric here, it came from Hobby Lobby store. So I actually bought it to do something else with for Valentine's Day, and I realized, oh, you have this fabric that goes so well with the red vinyl. It was like a win-win for me. It was like the fabric spoke to me and said, yes, you must use me. So that's how I got to the heart fabric. And so overall, sewing the actual pattern was not hard. I did not include the welt pockets, and then I did not include the back zippers. It was just a lot. Welt pockets were just a lot to try to include, and I didn't want to mess up my jacket because I didn't want to buy any more fabric, and then I just chose not to put the back zippers on this jacket. So would I make this pattern again? Yes, I would. I would use this pattern again, and I actually have plans on making this jacket again in the near future. Right now it's warm, so it's springtime, it's going to be summer. There's no need for a jacket, but I definitely will put this pattern in my fall rotation of patterns because I do want to make it again, and I am going to use an easier fabric to sew. So let me just say this: if you are a beginner, I definitely wouldn't say don't do it, but I would say be cautious when using vinyl because it is a hard fabric to maneuver. You don't want to have a hard fabric and a more challenging pattern as well. What makes this pattern challenging is just the number of pieces that it takes to construct. That was probably the most difficult thing, and then you had to know skills like welt pockets and things like that. So you have to know how to put in a lining. You have to know how to slip stitch to be able to finish off the lining and things like that. So my advice to you is, if you're going to do this pattern, choose a fabric that's not as hard to manipulate, like a tweed or wool blend, or really the suggested fabrics on here. Faux leather would probably be a little bit softer to use. Vinyl, it was just so kind of hard, and just it wasn't as bendable as the other fabric is. Okay, so yes, I do recommend McCalls 8121 to anybody who wants to make a cute Moto jacket. I am going to put information on my blog. You can find pics of me wearing it on my Instagram page. If you have any questions about me sewing up this jacket or anything that came to mind as you were watching this video, leave them in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.